So you received an email from Franklin Armory about a mass action lawsuit and you're wondering what exactly is this? Should you sign up for it? What's going on with the Franklin Armory Title I? In this video, I'm going to be addressing all of that, as well as a new piece of legislation which is targeting not only the Franklin Armory Title I, but other firearms and trying to reclassify them as assault weapons here in the state of California. As well as in this video, I'm going to be covering some points and some discussion I had with the CEO of Franklin Armory, Jay Jacobson, and it was a conversation I had as well as Reno, another YouTuber, and if you haven't seen his videos, I highly recommend you go and watch his videos, and I'll put a link to his channel down in the details. But it was a conversation we had with Franklin Armory about all these things that we're going to discuss in this video. But if you think that there is no such thing as an assault weapon and you think it's just a made-up term to incite fear from uneducated people, go ahead and hit that like button. Also, I want to give a shout out to one of the main supporters of the channel, USCCA. USCCA provides carry insurance for individuals and patriots like me and you for our CCWs. So if you think that maybe you want some sort of legal protection, I'll go ahead and pin a comment down below to USCCA. So first and foremost, let's cover the email that was sent out by Franklin Armory and that many of you probably received. This was essentially a public notice by Franklin Armory, and it had a whole discussion about what exactly is going on, and that if you put a deposit down for the Title I, you can join a mass action lawsuit, and it actually had a link attached to it that would take you to Michelle & Associates website where you can fill out the form. So I'm not going to discuss that form in detail, and I'm also not going to link to that form here in this video, mainly because one, we don't want this information getting out to the California Department of Justice, and two, the only way that you should be signing up for this mass action lawsuit is if you actually put a deposit down for a Title I. If you did not put a deposit down for the Title I, you should not be signing up for this mass action lawsuit. It is not something that just everybody should join. It is not a general petition. It is only for those individuals that actually put a deposit down and are intending to purchase a Title I from Franklin Armory. One of the main things I want to address here is if you actually did put a deposit down for the Franklin Armory Title I, but you have not received an email from Franklin Armory and you have not seen anything from Michelle & Associates for you to sign up for the mass action lawsuit, it is probably because when you actually put your deposit down, there was a box there, and it was, if you clicked it, you could receive emails from Franklin Armory and they would send you email updates, newsletters, all that stuff. If you did not click that box, they can't send you emails and they cannot forward you the press release that went out. So if you actually did put a deposit down, but you have not received an email, go ahead and reach out to Franklin Armory. They said for you guys, that you are in that situation, to reach out to them, give them your order number, your deposit, proof of deposit, all that, and give them your email, and they'll get you set up with sending you a link to sign up for the mass action lawsuit. One of the main things I want to address that Franklin Armory, Jay Jacobson, and them actually expressed to us in our conversation with them is that they don't want individuals to put down more deposits. They don't need 5 or 6 deposits from the same people. If you want to do that, if you're planning on purchasing multiple, Title I's, or you just want to cover your bases, you can go ahead and do that. But the main goal with the deposits is to get unique individuals, multiple unique individuals, to sign up for the mass action lawsuit, to put deposits in. The goal is not necessarily to just get a ton of deposits from the same people, but it's really to just actually figure out how many people are affected by the California Department of Justice inaction in updating the DRO system and actually preventing Franklin Armory from selling these firearms to us. One of the next things I want to mention is that there's a lot of confusion going on about whether individuals can still put deposits down with Franklin Armory and have standing for the potential mass action lawsuit that is going to be taking place. And the answer to that is you can still put deposits down for the Title I and have standing for the mass action lawsuit. You can go ahead and do that right now. And as of right now, the time period is pretty much open for you to put the deposit down. Now, a lot of people had questions about, well, they said the deadline was July 1st and people rushed in and put their deposits. Why now has the goalpost been moved? And that mainly has to do with AB 88. AB 88 put the deadline of July 1st, and if that bill was passed, the effectiveness of that would essentially have prevented individuals from being able to put deposits down, try to purchase a Title I. But since AB 88 was shelved, that pretty much opens up the door. Now we're going to discuss a little bit later SB 118, which is essentially a copy and paste of AB 88 and has set a new deadline, or a potential deadline, for a new bill, which is going to try to redefine assault weapons and put the Title I or other firearms into the category of assault weapons. But as of right now, you can still put a deposit down for a Title I and actually have standing and receive that email to join the mass action lawsuit. Another thing I've been getting asked a lot about the email that was sent out is people are just wondering and they want my advice of whether they should actually sign up for the mass action lawsuit. And my answer to that is yes, absolutely. If you want to help Franklin Armory, if you are just wanting to fight against the DOJ's inaction and actually doing their job and performing their duties as an administration here in the state of California, I highly recommend you join the mass action lawsuit if you receive that email. Now, along with this, a lot of people have been asking me, well, should I join the mass action lawsuit? There was some terms in there that said that the consumers are responsible for paying, stuff like that. There was some confusion. But actually, when you look at Michelle and Associates' website, when you go to join this mass action lawsuit, it says that it's completely free to join. There is going to be no cost to the plaintiffs, individuals like us who join the mass action lawsuit. They just need the numbers and they need legitimate plaintiffs to join this mass action lawsuit. Another thing I want to mention is that you should not be spamming the link to the mass action lawsuit on other websites. Don't be talking about it, all this stuff, because essentially it can go against you in the mass action lawsuit. If you see people spamming the link to the mass action lawsuit on social media sites, all of that stuff, let them know that they're actually going to be creating more harm than value in that situation. So now I want to talk in general about what exactly is the mass action lawsuit that's taking place, and actually what is the action that Franklin Armory itself is going to be taking in a different form. So I think there's a lot of confusion about these two things. A lot of people are confusing that Franklin Armory is actually in charge of the mass action lawsuit. Pretty much Franklin Armory, in regards to the mass action lawsuit, was only responsible for collecting these individuals who put deposits down, their email list, and actually sending out that press release and having them going over to Michelle and Associates and signing up for the mass action lawsuit. But after this point, it is pretty much just Michelle and Associates who is going to be handling this case. And it is a case on behalf of us, of the consumers, against the California Department of Justice. It is not an action by Franklin Armory against the California Department of Justice. There is a completely different action that Franklin Armory is actually suing the California Department of Justice. These two are completely different. The mass action lawsuit is actually going to be taking place in federal court, whereas the action by Franklin Armory, that is in state court. And so a mass action lawsuit is essentially going to be a mass complaint by us consumers against the California Department of Justice for a cause of action, maybe like a tort. So it'd be like a mass tort action against the California Department of Justice. And so this is unique from things like class action lawsuits, stuff like that. It is similar to class action lawsuits, but a little bit more unique, because for like mass tort actions, it has to do with individuals who have unique standing or are in a unique demographic, geographic area, which have unique standing. And so that's why I said it's important for only individuals who actually put deposits down for the Title I to sign up for the mass action lawsuit. One of the things that came out of the discussion I had between me, Reno May, and the CEO of Franklin Armory, Jay Jacobson, is once you sign up for the mass action lawsuit, Michelle and Associates is going to be handling it completely. And they will also be sending you follow-up emails of things that us as the consumers, the plaintiffs, need to do to help them proceed with this mass action lawsuit. And one of the things that Franklin Armory wanted me to tell you guys, the consumers, the individuals who are going to be joining this action, is that when you receive an email or something from Michelle and Associates, to make sure you're responding in a timely manner so that we can really get this thing going. But one of the other things I want to address in this video has to do with California once again trying to expressly target, other firearms, others, Franklin Armory's Title I, like they did with AB 88. So this new piece of legislation that we really need to keep our eyes on is SB 118. And essentially this is a safety policy led piece of legislation. And in it, they went ahead, the California legislator went ahead and pretty much copy and pasted what was in AB 88 in regards to firearms precursor parts, as well as the redefinition of assault weapons to include others and pretty much the Franklin Armory Title I into the assault weapons language. Since they pretty much copy and pasted from AB 88, they left the deadline of July 1st, 2020, which was in AB 88, in this new piece of legislation. And since they left the old deadline of July 1st, 2020, there was some concerns and actually some belief that maybe there could be a cause of action for them trying to apply something ex post facto. But they actually went ahead and revised that. I guess they became aware of their mistake and revised the date to September 1st of 2020. So this has some significance, and the reason why I'm bringing up SB 118 is if this is passed, that pretty much means like what we saw last time, where there will be a deadline for when you can put a deposit in for the Franklin Armory Title I and have standing. So although I mentioned that right now the timeline is open, if this bill, SB 118, actually gets passed and the new assault weapons language gets put into place, the deadline and the cutoff will be September 1st, 2020. So make sure if you are interested to target that date where you need to have your deposit in before then. One of the other things that I really want to mention about SB 118 is right now, like we did with AB 88, we really need to get vocal with shutting this down. We saw with AB 88, there was a lot of uproar, there was a lot of discussion on the actual assembly floors, on the Senate floors, about what exactly this AB 88 was doing. And so we need to get our representatives aware of what exactly SB 118 is going to do as well. We need to try to shut this down before it gets any steam. So we're going to see a lot of action this month on this issue of redefining assault weapons to include the Franklin Armory Title I and other firearms. So I want to ask you guys to make sure you're reaching out to your representatives right now and let them know you do not agree with SB 118 and what it is trying to do with the firearms precursor parts, as well as the redefinition of assault weapons. We don't want to wait until this is pretty much almost passed until we get engaged in this issue. We need to get engaged now because the California Department of Justice, the state of California, is moving forward. They pretty much put aside AB 88 and now they are trying to do the same thing through SB 118. So one of the last things I want to say is actually a message from Jay Jacobson, the CEO of Franklin Armory. And essentially what he said and what he wanted me to relay to you, my viewers, is that Franklin Armory is excited for this mass action lawsuit and their action against the California Department of Justice. And his hope is for the mass action lawsuit to actually be an example and standard, not only here in the state of California, but for other states to use and mirror what we're doing right now against the California Department of Justice, to shut down any other states or even the California's state actions which infringe on the Second Amendment. He is hoping that this is a new avenue for us to fight these tyrannical infringements on our Second Amendment rights. So that should answer all of your guys' questions about what's going on with the Franklin Armory Title I, the email mass action, the new bill which is taking place. If you have any questions or anything I didn't address in this video, you can go ahead and comment down below and I'll try to answer those. If you like this video and you'd like to support the channel, one of the best ways to do that is to join the Patreon, and I'll put a link down in the details as well as in the comment section to my Patreon page, and just like, commenting, and subscribing also helps this video. So as always, thanks you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and never forget, this nation was built by armed scholars, and this nation will be maintained by armed scholars.